and welcome to the Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup. We're talking about Alien Earth episode 7, the penultimate episode of the season. And boy, does it feel like a penultimate, maybe? I don't know.
It's
I'm
hard to
starting to
say.
rethink myself whilst I'm talking. Does
hmm
it feel like the end of a season? I don't know.
I think it
It's
feels like the end of a season.
Yeah, it just feels like there's a lot more to go with these group of characters. It doesn't feel like they can wrap everything up in the last episode. But anyway, that's for the non-spoiler review section. So let's introduce our crew. And it's me, it's Ian. Hello, I'm the host. Hi.
Hello.
And, and we've got Katie.
Hello.
And that was Katie.
That was me. That's all
Uh,
you're getting.
yeah. Hello. Um,
Hello.
let's just get straight into it. Let's go into our non-spoiler reviews. Katie, what did you think about this episode?
I liked it. It's kind of hard for me to talk about properly. I feel like this episode, the vibe it gave this week, just in general for me, because I think it's actually very important to recognize that, like, your own mood when watching stuff, because I think it can absolutely color things for you. This episode, this week, for me, was a lot. And I probably wouldn't have necessarily gone to like rushing towards watching it had I known the vibe. And we weren't doing this. This is the other thing. I did watch it out of more obligation because I knew we had to talk about it and all this sort of stuff. But like first 5 minutes, I was like, oh, this is a lot. So it's hard for me to say that I enjoyed it. I thought it was okay. I thought it was decent. I don't know. Not I don't think it's my favorite episode. I don't know. It's I don't really have any concrete thoughts about it overall. It really did feel like a penultimate, like this is the thing that we're doing in order to get into the last thing that we're doing.
Yeah,
Fine.
fine, fine. I'm still on the good side. Like
Mm,
I enjoyed this episode for the most part. There's some odd decisions maybe,
mm,
or things that I don't know if I quite enjoy in
yeah,
terms of the decisions that I'm making. Noah Hawley has been very good at hiding stuff in plain sight for us
yeah.
in this series, and I think that not all is as it seems with some of those weirder decisions. In general,
Mm,
I really liked it. It was a good ramp up.
yeah.
There's some really good moments in
hmm
this, but it is chaotic.
May chaos take the world!
It's a very chaotic episode. There's a
Mm,
lot of stuff going on, and I understand that they're all converging into this finale moment next week.
mm,
But the setup is here, there, and everywhere,
mm,
and I'm sort of losing track of. I tried to put like an outline for this episode, how we talk about it,
mm.
and I really have no idea how to connective tissue everything
Yeah.
because everything's everywhere.
I think you've hit a very good point that I've not really been able to quantify. I think this episode felt messy. You could track it. It was good that you could track it, but like the jump between, because it had these moments of being very slow and like really letting some certain stuff play out, and then it would like fire through a whole bunch of things. It's a very like I know I was kind of just before we were recording, I was like, oh, it's only 45 minutes. But also it's a bit like, oh, it's only 45 minutes. You
Yeah,
know, maybe it could have done with a bit more breathing space. I don't know. I
yeah,
also it's hard to say because we haven't seen the last episode yet.
yeah.
And I think that that might put more things into perspective. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it is chaotic in a way that made it very difficult to make any real notes about it because things were just sort of happening, and I was like, okay,
Oh, that happened. Oh, that happened too. Oh my God, that happened.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to the finale, and
hmm
I think we'll get payoffs. We did get some payoffs in this episode from things that we've been keeping an eye on, and I think that Hawley's been pretty good at bringing stuff back at the right times.
yeah.
So I have a fairly lot of confidence in the finale bringing most of it together. We shall see.
Mm.
There's just a lot to do in that last episode. There's a lot
Yeah,
to do.
I am leaning towards the payoff being good, but probably not perfect at
Hmm.
this point. This is where I'm at. Like, okay, there's some stuff in here that I thought worked quite well, but I don't think everything's going to pay off in the way that I'm hoping it will, which is a shame, and also feels a little bit accurate to the way I have also seen other Noah Hawley things before, where sometimes he's really good at it, and other times he kind of just doesn't quite go exactly where I hope he does, or he goes in another direction, and I'm like, that's the worst direction, actually.
Yeah.
That's the least satisfying direction for you to be going in. And I'm not saying that filmmaking has to be like actively satisfying every time, but I think like sometimes if you're going to go for the unsatisfying direction, you really have to work very hard to make it satisfying in how unsatisfying it is, or at least make sense, right? You can be like, yeah, that felt really unsatisfying. I'm going to sit with that for a bit, but it feels intentional as opposed to making the unsatisfying choice and it's not intentional because they think it's the best choice.
Not like this.
All right. We've talked around a lot of stuff now. Let's talk right into the stuff. So
Into
let's
it.
go in. A weird way of saying it,
Yeah,
but yeah. I'm just gonna plow on regardless.
sure.
And that was a weird way of saying it as well. Like, with spoilers. We're
Yes.
going to the spoiler section. We're going to the spoiler section right now. Let's go into spoilers then. We should start with Wendy. I think we should start with Wendy this week.
Certainly, it's one of the more juicy parts.
My overarching before we get into what she does in this episode and
Mhm.
what happens, my overarching question at the end of this episode is Wendy the bad guy?
It's a good question. I don't think it's that simple, which
No.
I think is a mark of, again, some actually genuinely interesting writing. But I think she's, how do I put this properly? It's interesting because everybody's got a very fixed perspective. And I think this is just the culmination of a lot of people having very fixed perspectives. That was kind of inevitable. And I'm a little surprised that I didn't see it coming in
Hmm.
the way that it did. Because like the moment it started developing in this way, like specifically what was going on with her relationship with Joe in this episode,
Yes.
and the dare for fundamentally different perspectives, I was suddenly like, oh, I didn't even think about the fact that they would be like on potentially on not even opposite sides, but like opposing sides. It's probably a
Hmm.
better way of putting it. By the end of things, because she does that, she has this interesting sense of morality that's actually quite good, but in a kind of robotic way and childish way as well as the other thing. But at the same time, Joe has this perspective that's like almost too moral, by half. Like it's very, very human. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way. It's very human. It comes from a place of like wanting to protect the people that are closest to you, but also that sort of like we have to look after ourselves mentality. Whereas Wendy kind of has this feeling of like we they were set up at the beginning where it was like actually the things that can't speak for themselves deserve that voice.
Yes.
But it means that she's kind of turned her back on other people. She's got no interest in bridging the gap. She's just really looking after her own, and
Yeah.
her own apparently is the alien.
One of us, gobble gobble, one of us. We accept that.
But yeah, and the hybrids. Well, she said it last week, didn't she? She said it to Dame Sylvia. Maybe
Yeah,
she doesn't want to be human.
yeah.
In which case, that she has a sense of morality, but she it all goes back to that scorpion scene at the very
Hmm.
beginning. Like one thing doesn't deserve to live, and one thing doesn't deserve to die because you're scared of it. A lot of people are scared of hybrids. A lot of people are scared of the xenomorph.
Hmm.
But she's taking it to another level.
This is the thing. It's gone straight from what you were just saying to but because humans are the ones that are trying to kill everything, I don't mind killing all the humans.
Yes.
Which is a little bit like, ooh, okay, maybe we've taken one step too far out of the thing. Like, I understand where you're coming from, Like I can sympathize with the perspective because yeah, I can absolutely understand why she's so frustrated with everybody
Hmm.
because humans are going to do the human thing and kill everything that looks scary. It's one step almost too far. I wouldn't classify her as the bad guy.
No,
I
not
don't think
in
I'd
this
go that
episode, at
far.
least.
Yeah, well, there's a potential.
It ends the episode looking like she's going to turn her back on Joe. That's what it seems like anyway.
Yeah, no, I do see what you mean. I don't know if I believe it's going to happen. Is all I was thinking. I
Okay.
don't know exactly what that will look like, but I don't know. I mean, there will be another massacre. Let's
Yeah,
be real.
you gotta hope so, right? You gotta hope so.
Again, I find it really difficult to talk about half the stuff in this episode because I'm just sort of like, I think it's one of those things because this is the penultimate. It's a lot of it's like it's payoff for some of the stuff we've had going on, but not enough payoff for me to feel like it's like you can talk about it properly yet. Plus, it feels like it's second to last episode syndrome, really, where it's like, yeah, we're getting the beginnings of payoff, but that is still in the setup stage. So
Yeah,
it's like we've got two halves that aren't quite together yet. And then
yeah.
like I would probably have more to say about the things that happened in this episode after the last episode.
Well, let's quickly go back to last week.
Mm.
Joe's quote that you wrote down. Safe is not just for bodies
Hmm.
type stuff.
Safe isn't always about bodies, yeah.
That's the one. She's found out in the first few minutes of this episode that she's not indestructible.
Hmm.
The way she says, "But we're premium." It's like, no, you can still die.
Uh-huh.
You can still die. And I don't know if that broke her brain a little bit
I
because
mean, what all we're seeing in this episode, if I had to like put it into like a thesis for the episode, like the other like last week was kind of more about consent. I think this one's more about trauma. I
yeah,
think it's about all of these kids like having trauma thrust upon them for like truly the first time. Or like genuine trauma. Like the before when they were going into the spaceship, it was kind of like, oh, this is scary, but like we're here as the heroes.
mhm,
Now bad shit is happening to them in a
yeah.
way that is not, it's too much for little brains.
I think that's explored pretty well when Nibs and Wendy find their own
Yeah.
gravestones, and
Hmm.
and Wendy's like, "That's not us. You
Hmm.
don't need to worry about it." But like we're here. But then Nibs was like, "I don't think I am.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm here. I've not been here for a
Which
while."
is oddly the most like self-aware,
Yeah,
I feel like, of anybody that's kind of been around so far.
but well, potentially that's because her emotions have been dialed down by Dame Sylvia.
Maybe a little bit, but I think Nibs has always had trouble with the
Transition.
transitional process. Like I think that's just built into I think sure Dame Sylvia took away like the really obvious bad memories, but like I think it's like the rot was already the mold. The mold
The
was
mold
already
was
down at
already
the
there,
bottom.
yeah.
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 She
They
was
did they
already
yeah, they did intimate that she had trauma way before that, even
Mhm.
before like terminal illness type stuff.
I think she just like she's the most traumatized of all of them, which did make the end of this episode honestly quite fun for me.
It was.
I really enjoyed it.
It was. But before we get to that,
Hmm.
Wendy, and we said it last week, I was hoping to see the tech stuff back.
Hmm.
She used it, but
Hmm.
not in a way I was sort of expecting her to
Hmm.
use it. She is the chaos.
Hmm.
Um, she let the xenomorph.
She let the dogs out.
She let the dogs out. And that is probably a fitting comparison because the xenomorph, you could say, looks like a pet. I don't think that that is what it's going to end up being. But right now, there's some sort of like ally of convenience thing, and it looks like a pet. It does look like one. So I understand how people who don't want the xenomorph to be domesticated, and
Mm,
fair enough, because I don't want that either, would be really annoyed at that bit.
mm.
I just part of me thinks that there's an allies of convenience type thing going on.
I worry. The way I'm viewing it is like, I don't think I feel like she thinks she probably can do this with all of them.
Mhm.
And I don't think that will be the case. I think
No.
this one very specific one likes her. And like the other one that's currently growing on the island. Well, I
Yeah.
suppose that they've captured that one, but that one's probably gonna get out again. And then that there'll be two of them running around killing things, and one of them will be like, oh, there's probably gonna be an alien versus alien fight at the end of this, isn't there?
I mean, yeah, I hope not as well. I hope
Oh
not as well.
no.
The Wendy's, let's call it Wendy's, Xenodog. That was imprinted on the
Hmm.
baby as soon. It was the first thing that it saw when it woke up, and I'm
Hmm.
saying that's not necessarily a that's
She'd
my
also
mama
been
thing,
kind
but
of talking to it before it was born,
yes.
so I don't
So
know.
like imprinting on itself for like mama behavioristics.
Hmm.
But so we don't know how that affected it, but I still don't think that it's fully domesticated. And part of me just thinks that that's like a falsehood we're being led to believe. I think I don't know. I think maybe I'm being drinking
You're
the
being,
copium.
it sounds like you're very optimistic.
I'm drinking the copium here, but I just and like I saw an interview with Noah Hawley afterwards saying nobody wants a xenomorph pet to happen.
Okay, interesting. That does curious. If he's aware of it, that's something.
Yes.
But I kind of just don't trust it at the moment because it looks too much like she's too in control of it, and that kind of makes me
Mm,
because
same.
no, I don't want like I
No.
like the image of it at the moment. I just don't want it to stick, you know?
Am
I
I?
I like the idea of the hubris of like, oh, I actually can control this thing.
Yes.
If I can be nice enough to it, it'll like me, kind of a vibe. I also like the idea of because I do love a story about hubris. I love a story about science hubris, and I love it mostly when it's wizard hubris, but there's no wizards in this. Um,
No. Well,
I I
like
just I do
Cavalier's sort of a wizard. He's got that sort of look about him, doesn't he?
I just I love a story about somebody being like, I can be the one that's in control of this, which we'll get to it, but I think is Cavalier
Yes, it is. Yeah.
to the like nth degree, which makes me so excited. I don't
The
know.
look of this xenomorph, is it a bit too brown, or have we never seen it in daylight?
No, it seems like it's really I don't like a bit brown, a bit green. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just a kind of like maybe it's like adapted to the environment because it a little bit camouflage because it's everything it's on a very green and brown planet.
Yeah.
I don't but also that it's indoors. So I could not tell you.
Yeah, and it was developed sort of in vitro, not really in
Mhm.
vitro, but like on
In lung,
in lung.
in
Yes.
pneumo.
So maybe that's something about it. All right, let's go to that scene then. The scene where Wendy calls upon the xenomorph, like an ally in like a I don't know, like a summon in a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
Uh, and
She just called Ifri and it's like burning everything.
Ifrit!
Come to me, Ifrit!
And yeah,
Oh my God, Klein of Final Fantasy. I didn't know you were here.
it it takes out the second team from Wayland Utani,
Mhm.
like fully. It takes it out. Blood splatter everywhere. Everything's pretty gross. So the one thing that has come from this is that the editing was a bit choppy. That I've been said.
I would agree with that for basically the entire episode.
Okay.
Um, Not like there's certain points of it where it certainly like calms down a bit, but like that very intentionally it kind of slows down and it makes sure to like look at everything that's going on. But around it, I felt like the episode was very like we're just gonna cut for the sake of we need to move the story forward, as opposed to like this cut to this thing is like telling you something, you know?
Mhm.
It's very much sort of like we're just gonna keep we filmed a whole bunch of coverage and we're gonna try and get a lot of it in here.
In this circumstance, though, I sort of see why that fight scene, well, it's not really a fight, it's a massacre scene. It
Mm,
was a bit was was choppy.
mm,
I get the criticism there because you, it's a dude in a suit, and like
mhm.
if you linger on it too much, you know it's a dude in a suit,
Yeah.
and you can still check, and you can still see it's a dude in a suit, but you don't want it to be obvious out there, right? So I think that's one of the reasons. Would it have been better if you had seen it all from the perspective of like a wide angle and it's just like jumping around and everywhere, maybe a little bit of CG, and then just cut into the reactions of Nibs, who's loving it for some reason, Joe, who's
What? She's
not, yeah,
very much in her violence era.
she is, yeah.
It didn't
Joe,
last
who's
very
like,
long, but she's in it.
yeah. Joe's who's in the like the oh my God scared era, but and then Wendy who's sort of like watching in
I
interest.
think she's in her sort of like she's like this is what I have to do kind of thing. She's in very much like I have to do this kind of a vibe. Like
Yeah,
it is imperative. Like I am right. I need to leave. And
yeah,
this is the only way to do that. So she's kind of gotten into that sort of steeled like fine, we're just doing this kind of
Y-
yeah that sort of cold sort of moment.
yeah. I liked a bit of the Xenomorph like massacring, but
Mm.
would it have been better to do it all wide angle so it's not as Daredevil Born Again season one?
I honestly don't know because I'll be honest, I don't remember what that looked like all that much. I remember the aftermath,
Hmm.
the shot of Joe kind of looking over all of, and the fact that they were like guts. There's guts everywhere.
Yeah,
It's looking bad out here. And I liked that because I feel like it was sort of the beginnings of like, oh, I'm starting to see that this is like actively violent. One of my notes that I wrote down was like, because like it was a combination of that and the moment at the grave where they kind of were focusing a lot on Joe, which by the way, I sent this to you. Surprised at the century that their last name is actually Hermit.
yeah.
I thought it was a code name. No, that's their name.
So does that mean Siberian's name is actually
Like,
Siberian and
I
not a
guess.
it's like
Crazy.
it's weird. What are these names?
I just was like, that's got to be a code name. No,
Hmm.
that's his name, apparently.
Yeah,
Sure, why not? But like that moment when he was looking at he knelt down and looked at her grave, and then the moment later on where when he's looking at all those dead bodies and the fact that his sister was the one who did it. You have to remember, she's 12,
yeah,
right? To him, last time he saw her, she was a little 12-year-old girl, and now she's out here killing people. I was suddenly like, oh, he's been spending the entire season convincing himself that that is actually his sister, and he's starting not to believe it. And it was this sort of turn towards like this is violence for the sake of violence, and these things are not human, and therefore the action he took at the end will be justified
yeah,
to himself, which is an unforgivable potentially act in
yeah.
terms of Marcy.
He killed Nibs. And don't forget, Joe's on this island still
Mhm.
because that's what they're trying to figure out. I think, is it Atom or the Boy Cavalier? I can't remember who said his job is to work out if that's still his sister and whether they've got
Sanctum.
yeah, and whether we've got a billion-dollar business going on or these are utter trash.
I don't even know if I know what the answer to that is, but I'm more inclined to believe the sort of nuanced version where it's like it's a version
Yeah.
of your sister, but it's not the same. It's not the exact same. You can't like replicate it exactly because the perspective immediately shifts the moment you give them a body that's not the same as the one that they were like born into, right? You
Hmm.
can't really stop that from changing your perspective on things. But I also don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not like I trust these people to make that happen.
Oh, absolutely not. Oh, these set of people, they're
These people?
actually fucking
No.
dumb. They're very clever on an intellectual level, but on an actual street smarts wise, they're
This is
there.
this is the science hubris that the
Yeah.
scientist hubris that comes into play. It always comes down to a complete like not complete a lack of understanding of humanity or like what it means to like have compassion for something.
Hmm.
Um, because the moment you lose that, I think you lose the fundamental aspect of like human beings. Because it's like, yes, very cruel.
Yeah.
Also, great capacity for kindness.
Yeah.
And I think it's very interesting that Wendy's capacity for kindness has now left the realm where humans are involved in that.
Let's move on to Joe. I haven't got a lot about Joan that we've not already said in terms
Mm.
of context of Marcy. However, I love that his dumbassery came to bite him in the ass. How about
I was a bit annoyed that she like just on a level of like, oh my God, you snitched, girl. What's wrong with it? How dare you?
How dare you? How dare you?
yeah, Siberian, his
Yeah.
best mate, yeah. But
She
like
fucking
still,
snitched.
we said last week, stop talking about the fucking boat, Joe.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And everyone knew what he was trying to
Everyone knew what
do.
he was trying to do.
It was an ambush. It was way too quiet.
Yeah, and all that makes sense, obviously. I'm just like on like just a personal level irritated that they were like, yeah, of course we're gonna dob you. And I'm like, what fucking loyalty do you have to this fucking company? This guy's your friend. Just
Colleagues,
the
it looks like now. Colleagues, not
colleagues.
actual
Ugh.
friends.
Just the idea to be loyal to some company over a guy who's like, I'm scared and I want to take my sister and leave. And he's like, they're just bootlickers.
So at least the
Obviously, you need that for the story to keep going in the way
yeah,
that it does. Doesn't mean I have to be happy about it.
yeah. I mean, ideally, Joe runs off into the sunset, maybe leaves Marcy behind because that's a dangerous thing to have in the world. But still,
I am of the opinion at this point that if Joe survives, I am going to get irritated.
yes, he is. He must be on his ninth life now. Is
Like it's too much, and I
yeah.
love a bit of plot armor, but it's too much
He killed Nibs for a
Mm.
good reason.
because Nibs is crazy.
Nibs is crazy. She crushed that guy's jaw
Yeah,
because he chucked Mr. Strawberry in the water.
yeah. Well, honestly, I'm with her on that one.
I know. There's no need in
There
taking it
was no
out
need.
on innocent bystanders like
No,
Mr. Strawberry.
no, there was no need for it. My note for here was just, okay, Nibs going absolutely postal was awesome. I see you. Goodbye, Jaw.
It was no, it she took the jaw in the end. I thought she crushed it at first, but she actually ripped it out and like showed it him.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Yeah, I kind of loved it. I was
Yeah,
like the one part, the bit in the episode, I was like, this shit rules. I'm
yeah,
just very, it was just like, I think of all the people, it was just so very satisfying to see Nibs do that,
yeah,
generally speaking, because she seemed so timid. But like, and I knew it was Kate, like, I think it was that sort of thing of like, yeah, like I think it was obvious that we were going to get to a point where she was being like the moment she jumped on Dame Sylvia, it was kind of like, oh no.
yeah.
But like getting to actually see it before she eventually had to die. I'm so sorry, Nibs. I think that's the other part of it that like I'm like obviously I understand why he did that and like it makes absolute sense that he would do that. But the part of me that's sort of like she fucking dobbed you in,
I
man.
know. She was a traitor to you, and then you saved her because against Nibs, who like, I don't know.
It makes sense. Doesn't mean I like it, you know.
Yeah. Like Nibs has only come to the line so far before this episode with
Mm.
Sylvia. Do you think that Sylvia dialing down her emotions caused the step over the line?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think the dialing down the emotions has done anything to her, really.
That's fair.
Like
That's fair.
I really like in when I think about Nibs, it doesn't like even factor into the way that she's been or like post that. The only thing I feel like it did that I could kind of see or like process in that way was sort of the way afterwards where she was sort of like, oh, I'm fine. It's like putting somebody on antidepressants for the first time and they've got the wrong dosage, you know, of like of like I'm not feeling enough. And actually, it's a bit weird. It like every time you mention it, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot they did that. You know,
Okay.
like it didn't really hit very like clearly. But you might be right. I think maybe that does make sense, I guess.
Okay, I think is that the Nibs, Joe, Wendy
I think
arc?
that's most of it. We end obviously with what did you do?
Yeah.
And the sort of the sound of the alien off in the jungle very close by because it's hiding and following.
Hmm.
And Joe acting more out of fear than understanding, which I think is that's the thing
Yeah.
that the humans are always often they're going for, and probably is the exemplification. Sure, we're going to say that's a word.
Mhm.
Of episode 5, where it's like these are a bunch of people who are acting out of, well, I mean, fear
And
in a sense,
dumbassery, yeah,
and
in episode
dumbassery. But
5, yeah.
like the idea is not going for like, I mean, it's like a little bit of selfishness as well. But like most people, like the action to take off the little blood-sucking ticks from the guy
Hmm.
was an action taken out of fear rather than understanding,
Yeah.
right? It's that thing of like fear is too powerful an emotion for supposedly it's suggested that fear is too powerful of emotion for people to look through and like make a more logical understanding decision
Hmm.
instead. But it seems like the two options for the people here are both of them come from a place of not showing compassion, I think, or like feeling compassion or caring about compassion.
Yeah.
So you've got like the very scientist hubris side where it's sort of like this is an experiment and I want to poke at it until I get it results in a way that like interest me. And then you have the fear side where it's like this thing is scary and I think I need to kill it, as opposed to trying to take an objective view and go, actually, how can we be like not say nice about it, but like how do we be understanding about it, but also like taking in the entire perspective as opposed to the very horse blinder
No.
kind of
Yeah.
perspective.
Okay, let's briefly talk about Curly because Curly's the least important hybrid in this episode.
It was like my second note, but I just like the image of her getting really overwhelmed, like a little girl, and just
Yeah.
needing to crawl up and like be held by her mother. And I was like, oh, that's a little too real.
Yeah. And she was put in that position because Wendy goes to get Nibs, and Curly doesn't want to go with because she doesn't want to leave because that's her home, and she's never
Mhm.
been as happy as she is there. I think I don't know if that's going to bite her in the ass at some point.
I think at
Probably
that point it's just sad,
it
you
does,
know?
yeah.
It's
I,
just like this is a place where she feels like she could do something really interesting and wants to grow there and all this sort of stuff. She's probably, funnily enough, the most suited to the environment.
yeah.
And the fact that it's kind of blowing up around her and she doesn't know what to do, and her first thought is, I need mum.
Yeah, it was overwhelming for her because she had to keep a secret because it was a choice between of like her home and her brothers and sisters in a
Yeah.
way. And yeah, and it was a lovely image of
Mm.
Sylvia saying it's all going to be okay to Curly.
It will not,
It
but
will
the
not, but
I
I
love your
appreciate
enthusiasm.
it. Like, she doesn't really know what's going on. I
She
don't
doesn't
think
know
she's
that.
been told that there's a xenomorph on the loose.
Can we talk a little bit about the slightly bad photo, the moment because Sylvia's on the couch looking at pictures of Arthur, and I
Yeah.
just something about the editing of it was not good.
Okay. I didn't notice, but yeah.
Just was staring and going, oh, that's like you know when people like really badly try to perspective shift like another picture into a picture and you're just sort
Hmm.
of like, well, somebody's photoshopped that. That's what I was, that was all I could see. I was like, he looks like he's looking a bit too close to the actual camera. Like it was that kind of like it was that kind of like, oh, that's not, that doesn't look flat.
I didn't notice. I really didn't notice. But
It's
yeah.
just one of those things. I was like, oh dear.
Hmm.
She's going through going through a little collage.
I mean, she did break up a marriage,
I
basically.
know, but like I just it was like one of those like photo those like digital photo frames, and she was
Yeah.
just sort of like, oh.
Swiping. Oh, poor Sylvia.
But this is what you get when you sell your soul bit by bit.
I mean, it probably nice segue into the adventures of Slightly and Smee and
Jesus.
Arthur.
This is the most depressing part of the entire episode.
But I've got like one thing first.
Hmm.
I know we talked about the man-sized vent last week, right?
Uh-huh.
How did Slightly get Arthur out of the secure lab now into his bedroom with
Don't
no
worry about
one
it.
seeing?
Don't worry about it.
Just don't worry about it.
Don't
I've
worry
got
about
another
it.
one of those things in the Adventures of Slightly and Smee in a sec as well. But like, oh, this is these are the things that annoy me. These like, how did he get there?
How did I get here? Hello? How did I get here?
Don't worry about it. But
Don't
if
worry
you
about
are
it.
going to do it and put him under your bed, then maybe hide him a little bit better, slightly. Like, don't leave an arm on like just
Don't leave
poking
an arm.
out. Just don't leave an
Don't do
arm
it.
poking out.
Yeah, so before we started the episode, I told you that like so this sort of occurs in the first 5 minutes, right? It's
Hmm.
like the opening to the episode is Smee coming in and like being brought into just how terrible everything is for Slightly at the moment. He's been having a bad time and now
Yeah.
he's in it too. And Slightly has truly had to like turn off every emotion that he has because he's like, well, my mother and my brothers are in danger and I have to do anything I can. So, and the thing is, Morrow did tell him that he would be fine. I think he figured out very quickly that he was not going to be fine, and then he did the exact same thing to Smee.
Well, I don't know. I still think that he might have thought that he was going to be fine. He was
I think
feeding him, like he
I
was
think
trying to
he
feed him
I
anyway.
think he I think I don't think he was surprised really,
Hmm.
not to the same level that Smee was, where he was like, no, you told me
Yes.
he was going to be okay. The moment he was like, no, it's just I don't care, you know. I
Yeah.
think he kind of knew that there was a sacrifice being made here, and it was like, right, sure. Of
I think he was
course,
might
I've
have been
been.
kidding himself for a bit, but like when the deed actually happened, he was
Mm,
not in any way, shape, or form concerned for Arthur in those seconds.
no,
Poor Arthur.
poor Arthur. I just the moment he realized something was wrong, he was like, "It's okay. You're clearly scared. Let me help you." And I was like,
Yeah.
this poor man is just too nice."
The way that even scene ended was like, I know, and he's like, I know you're lying. It's going to be okay. Let's just go back to the thing. And they both take his hand like they're his kids, they're actual kids. He was very sad.
It was so sad.
Poor man. Arthur is the best of us.
Yep.
If anyone is like the shining light of human beings here, Arthur is that.
Arthur is the perspective that everybody else is missing. He's the one who's seeing the entire board and like actually finding that compassion in people. And like, it's too much, unfortunately. He's got too much compassion.
Yeah.
And it was, oh God, it was just so sad. And I mean, it's nice, I guess, to actually get to see the full chestburster like moment happen. It's a hard thing being somebody who works in this industry
Hmm.
because there's moments where you see bits of like filmmaking and you're like, ah, it's a squib. Like you can kind of see it's like you can almost see the thing under his shirt go,
Yeah.
and I was
Um,
like, that's fun. I was like, it's nice that we actually get to see that whole thing, but it was the way they shot because this was in terms of filmmaking, it was my favorite part of the episode because they did not let you look away from it. They were like, we're not going to cut away from all this, actually. We're going to make you watch as our beloved Arthur Sylvia just dies in front of you.
eviscerated from the inside, yeah.
Much like these kids, these like very young children
Hmm.
are having to watch this as well and are being like Smee being actively traumatized in real time was basically that was the scene.
Yeah.
Um,
I think this episode was my just Smee's a good guy. I like Smee now. I think
Yay, we did it.
I still don't like his name, but like
He's just a boy.
he's just a boy, you know.
He was trying to help his friend,
Yeah.
and then somebody died
In front of him. His
in
dad, basically his dad, you know. Oh,
covered in blood. Just the dead look on Slightly's face as they're dragging him through the water to meet.
my second thing is,
Mm.
did they build that raft? Where was that raft?
You know,
Is
I
that the
didn't
quickest
question that,
raft?
but that's really funny.
Is that the quickest raft building in of all time? Did they build that raft in advance? Who built the raft and why was it
Great question.
man-sized?
It's like one of the many pallets that you can find throughout The Last of Us. Just don't worry about it. It's
Just
just
don't worry
there.
about it. Just a floating raft.
Just a rough. Well, the island's probably covered in bamboo. I reckon they probably could have made it.
Yeah, how long would that take to make such a tightly wound raft?
Hey, they're not human. Maybe they
Yes,
could do it real fast.
maybe.
Maybe they have raft building knowledge.
And tested that it would hold a man. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not worried about it. But you said your favorite thing about this Slightly and Smee adventures was
Mm,
the way they shot the chessboard burster.
mm.
My favorite thing, in an ironic way, is when the face hugger dropped out of the tree.
Oh no, that was pretty good.
Like, slightly his like visage at that point was like, "Ah, ah," and then just tried to stomp it out.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
Oh, I can't remember his name. I need to look him up. The guy who plays Arthur.
One eternity later.
Ristal. David Ristal. I think that's how you say it. I just like really the sort of like slightly kind of confused, like, oh, okay, I guess we'll go. Like vibe. Because
And
he's
then he
just so
thanks
out of
them as
it.
well.
Oh God.
He was like, thank you for carrying me. And I'm like, oh Arthur, oh
Slightly
Arthur.
like, you're welcome.
The Slightly and Smee adventures end with Morrow being very cold.
Very
Like,
cold.
it's like
Mm.
he didn't do what I said. Stop being adults. We did forget about the curse of it all in the Slightly and Smee adventures.
Yeah, I think we can come right down to it because we can talk about all of the Kersh stuff now.
Hmm.
I did enjoy. I just again, Timothy Oliphant is he's one of the goats, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like the sort of look of him being like, what are you doing? No, don't go that way. Go that way. It's faster. God.
And we were like,
And they're like,
what are you
okay.
doing, Kirsch?
My only note about this is I feel like the implication here was that Kersh let the whole thing play out because he wanted to get Morrow on the island so that they could arrest him, which is that's a long play.
It is the long game. It's definitely playing the long game there.
But also, why?
Maybe he thought, Arthur's dead anyway. May as well let him out. As long as we keep a track of them somehow, even though I don't know how they found the
No.
xenomorph
There's
thing.
I think the more you say it, I think there's a lot of little bits and pieces in this episode where you're sort of like, so there's some things happening here just for the sake of convenience for the plot, right?
Hmm. Yeah,
Like, you're right. How did they find that? Because it went off into the jungle
yeah.
and suddenly they were able to capture it. I don't,
You just saw it. Oh, and there it is. Oh,
oh,
poof.
good. And you're also like, this feels very convenient
Yes.
in a way that isn't narratively like realistic.
Yeah.
My mother's dead, and I killed her. Here's the weapon, and cuff me, thank you very much.
Especially for such a small thing. They can't find it on like a small ship, but they can find it on in a massive island, a jungle island. But hey ho. So it seems like Kirsch just let it play out so he could capture Morrow and like foil the plan that way.
Just doesn't seem like the easiest way to go about doing that. I got very attached to the idea that Kirsch actually doesn't care about the company that he works for.
Hmm.
And the idea that actually he's been doing it for them the whole time, I was like, oh.
I think he's more attached to the company than the man.
Than the man, that's true. Maybe he thinks he can do it better.
Yeah,
which
definitely.
probably could.
The look of disdain that he has for the boy Cavalier
Yeah.
when he's talking about Isaac.
This is the thing. That was a good. I liked that whole sequence a lot because again, I really liked Timothy Oliphant's performance in it because there is this element of like detachment, but also because he makes sure to call him Isaac every time,
Yes.
and then when the boy Cavalier is like, who? He kind of
Toodles.
goes Toodles, and he's like, no, his name is Isaac, and everybody's calling him Isaac, and it's just you who keeps dead naming him, you little bitch. Those are his kids. I don't like in his way. I'm not saying it's like a regular human way. In his way, he cares about them. Those
Yeah.
it's like they're his. I was gonna say that like they're his property, but like not in the same way that the boy Cavalier sees them as his property. He still sees them as like thinking beings.
I think he does feel of it is it's his responsibility in some way, in like a twisted way.
I'm
as
in
well.
charge of these guys.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing.
Like at the very end when they capture Morrow, he's like, "Boys, come over here."
Wait, no, and my favorite line of the episode, you two are so grounded.
Now he's the father. Now
Like
Arthur's
just
dead.
like but like in that little way of being like, I'm a little bit amused by your exploits, actually.
Yeah.
Like Arthur's dead.
Yeah.
They're both actively traumatized, and he's like, you're grounded. I wrote it down. It's like I've not really got that many notes in this episode, but that was one of the only things I was like, that's so fucking funny.
Okay, I think that's Gersh.
Kind of think that is it for Kirsch. I feel like we probably have one more shoe to drop when it comes to Kirsch to understand where he actually lies in terms of loyalty. But I did like that whole like standoff sequence. I thought it was just the putting down of the alien and being like, well, you've been outplayed.
Yes.
Come on, children.
So we end, apart from a little bit of Mold Watch, but we end with the boy Cavalier then. Oh dear, he's found someone on his intellectual level that he wants to speak with.
And it's a sheep.
It's a sheep. It's the Octo-Eye thing, the eye. He's so excited when he tries to talk to it and has it prove itself by knowing the digits of pi.
I immediately, maybe I've watched too much sci-fi, but my first thought was, it's a bit of an assumption that whatever race that you're talking to, or like species that you're talking to, uses the same base 10 mathematics system. Then that because they might not.
Yeah.
And that would completely throw off all of your calculations, frankly. I have been listening to Project Hail Mary recently, and there's like a whole subplot in it where you find out that something else maybe uses base 8 as opposed to base 10. So all the calculations are done through the number 8 as opposed to tens like we do. So just assuming that pi is
like
going to be
Lily's scoring thing.
It's basically Lily's scoring thing, yeah. But like just the assumption that all beings in the universe are going to use the same like basis for maths, I feel like was a big assumption on his part. But
it worked out.
It worked out. He did know pi, which is fun because I also know the first probably 10 digits of pi. And I know that because of Night in the Museum too. Do you know the scene I'm talking about?
I think so, but I also
there's these little Einstein bobbleheads, and they say, like, I think it's like the first, it might be 9 or 10, I can't remember how many digits it is exactly, but they say it over and over again, and it is locked in my brain.
Pi?
3.14159265 to be exact.
It's not in mine. I have
3.14159265.
Jesus Christ. I have a degree in maths and I don't know any of that.
That's as far as I get. I don't know any of the rest of them, but it's because it's more like a song.
Yeah.
I've heard it so many times.
The boy Cavalier, very excited about the Octo-Eye. He's wondering who he can put it into. He has an idea, but
I think it's Atom.
It leaves. Well, the Octo-Eye does like sort of points to it.
I think he was sort of like, the moment he was sort of like, I guess we'll go look for some candidates. He's like, no, I've got an idea. I'm like, yeah, it's you, buddy. You're not getting out of here. He's going to put it in you.
My other guess would be a prisoner. So, Morrow.
I don't know. Does he know that Morrow's there?
No, but that would be why it's debunked straight away. But still, maybe Sylvia. I don't know.
I mean, you could do Sylvia. I think it's funnier if it's Atom, just because Atom's like there and he's like, yeah, you'll do. I think it's fun if it's you.
But he does call out the mold scrubbers.
Yes, I wrote it down. I wrote it down in all caps. I was very excited.
They finally acknowledged it. They have mold scrubbers.
And it is mold.
It is.
That's the other thing. It's mold. I've been right.
Vindication!
I literally wrote mold scrubber. They're called mold scrubbers. The fucking mold. That's the whole note.
But does that mean that is actually a fairly benign thing that they've just been dealing with the actual mold for all this time?
Probably. Doesn't matter. It's important to me.
Okay. Because yes, we did see lots of mold in this episode. They're all in the corridors.
Yeah, I do think it's just a visual metaphor for like this place is like there is an inevitable thing coming, and it's eating everything, and there will be nothing left. And I think it really is probably just that. But I enjoy it as a concept so much, and I like the fact that they have these mold scrubbers, like they've been fighting back against this like tide of something super. Not supernatural, but super natural.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a very like a naturally occurring thing that they're like they can't eradicate, so they just have to keep like scrubbing it away and acting like it's not coming back, but it is coming back. And if you leave it alone, the whole place is gonna rot from the inside out. Even if that's all it is, I do enjoy that as a visual metaphor. That's very fun. I was so pleased that that like it got acknowledged.
They said it. They said the thing.
My last thought on it is that it's definitely ending up in the Boy Cavalier. I think it knows that he's the smartest person there, and he's like, okay, yeah, sure, put me in somebody else, and we'll have a conversation. And then the moment you stop paying attention, I'm ending up in your head.
Well, we've got so many things where the boy Cavalier is like predicting his own death by things that he says. So like the eyeball, he wants it into a smarter person so that he can have a conversation with it. What's a better conversation than in your own head? I don't know. And he talked about the face hugger earlier on in the season where he doesn't want Utani to have it because he doesn't want to wake up with a face hugger on his face. So again, portraying his own death. And his fucking feet is always out. I just want the feet to be his downfall still.
Again, it's wizard hubris, you know? It's that thing of like, I can create anything. And the most perfect version of all this intelligence is if we mold together into a super intelligent machine where it's me and you and we work together and we share knowledge. And I feel like and I don't know if I think he's too attached to his self to like think to do that. But I think that that's the ultimate, like, well, you wanted the knowledge.
Yeah.
So now it's in you.
Yeah.
I just think that and if he doesn't end up with that with the Octo-Eye in his head, I think I'm actually going to be disappointed.
Okay. And I think so too.
I think that's the most fitting end for him.
Yeah, probably, I would say. He wanted, someone intelligent to talk to for the whole season.
He found it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it killed him.
My last thing on the boy is the callousness of him asking Kirsch whether they could reboot Isaac. And
there goes 6 million.
There goes 6 million, And Kirsch saying, in theory, but we've not been able to do it. And he's like, fuck.
It's a fair question. On like, I know he's not doing it on a compassionate level, but like, I think it's also a question that the audience would have.
Yeah. Can they reboot?
Can we bring him back? Is this actually death? And as it turns out, for right now, seems like it is.
Yeah. We also saw just at the very end of that scene him lose his cool for the first time as well, like properly lose his cool. I don't think that we've ever heard him.
No, I just don't remember what it was. Oh,
it was when Kirsch says, "I don't know where all they are." Somebody turned off the trackers, and he goes, "Fuck."
He's very fun to watch. I really just. Yeah, he's a shitlord, and I just enjoy watching his stuff. And I just can't wait for that eyeball to end up in his head.
Right, I think that's the end of the spoiler section. Then let's go on to our episode rankings.
I wrote 8. It's not my favorite, but I still think it was pretty good. I don't think I'd go lower than that.
Yeah.
Like, it is good. I feel like if I went to a 7 or a 7.5, it would be too harsh somehow. But yeah, I don't know. 8.
I am gonna go to a 7.5. Like we have said that I'm not until we get to the end of this series. I don't know how I feel about Xenodog, and there were a few mishy choppity cutting things here, and there was a few inconsistencies which actually made my brain hurt about how did he get there? How did they make a raft? What is going on? That sort of thing. So they're a little bit off, but I still really enjoyed this show, and I am like for the first 7 episodes of this 8-episode season, I don't know if I could have asked for much more in what we have got in an expansion to the Alien universe as a whole.
Sure.
There is still the question of why does this happen before the Nostromo, and I don't have a good answer for that yet still, but we shall see in the last episode. I'm going to go 7.5 just because of the little inconsistencies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like an 8, but not like a happy 8.
Yeah.
It's like a yeah, I mean technically I guess good, but I don't feel great about it. It's bizarre. It's a bizarre sort of bit between. It's a very sort of like it's a cold 8.
Yeah. Cold 8.
Yeah, it's a cold 8.
Yeah,
Like
okay.
I feel cold about it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, technically it's a really good episode, but like also I feel really bad. I don't know what to do about those feelings.
Kind of, yeah. I'm like I don't feel particularly enthusiastic about it, but like it was good, so 8.
Yeah. Then I think that's it for the episode then. Thank you very much for watching and listening to us talk about Alien Earth on the Watching Now podcast from Couch Soup. You like this? Like and subscribe. Do comments and stuff, please. We like seeing comments and we like responding to them. Why is my voice this high?
I don't know.
I don't fucking know either. For now, that's it for another week. We will see you again for the finale.
What left?
Okay, talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, Wendy, we're really in it now. Does that work on your end? Because I like in my end, she is looking at me.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, good. That's what I was hoping for.